All right, here we go. I've got a pop quiz for you. All right. I'm going to describe something that you can't see. You can't see it, can't taste it, you can't feel it, can't touch it, can't smell it, you can't even buy it, can't put it in a jar, save it on the shelf. You can't. What am I talking about? What is it that I'm talking about in relationship to a saxophone? Because my name is Dave. I teach people how to play the saxophone, and I'm going to give you the answer in just 1 second, although some of you have probably already figured it out. I have openings in my Zoom calendar for lessons in March, and if you have something that you're working on that you'd love to have some one-on-one time with, hey, let's set it up. You can find me in the comments below. I'll put my contact information down there for you, and you can reach out. And again, I really like to have a specific issue rather than just, an umbrella. Hey, let's just work on some stuff. No, pick out something that you're really trying to work on, that you'd really like to improve, and bring that to the session. And in fact, let's talk about it first, because maybe I can't help you. I probably can, but you never know. I don't have answers for everything. So reach out to me. Let's see if we can work together. Would love to meet you and work one-on-one at any rate. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm glad you're here. If you like what you see today, hit that subscribe button at the end and maybe give me a like, one of those thumbs ups, okay? All right, here's the answer to the question. Is saxophone tone. Can't see it, can't taste it, can't feel it, can't touch it, can't smell it, can't buy it. No, and I know the industry wants you to think that, all you got to do is get a better buzzer, blah, 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 better reeds, blah, blah, blah. It's going to fix your tone. And it's not. Tone and breath. Tone, breath. Breath powers the horn. Breath is what makes saxophone tone. Breathing, right? It's so important. And it's a lesson that I teach over and over and over and over again. I'll get students here in the shop, to do it like once or twice. They'll do it right once, they'll do it right, but the next week they'll come back and they won't be doing it. They'll be back into that kind of walk around, talking, breathing, which is very shallow, just uses the top parts of your lungs from what I understand. We need to suck in a bunch of air. I'm talking cannonball in the pool. Right before you hit that water, you're taking in some air, right? Big air like that. And there are rules about all that. They say, oh, don't move your shoulders. Don't listen to those. They don't care. Just get air inside you and get the air back out into the horn. And do that over and over and over. You're going to have to retrain yourself into how you do this. And that's your superpower, right? Time and repetition. Repeat that lesson over and over. Take in air and put it through the horn, and we'll talk about some of the myths that go along with teaching breathing, okay? Because I think they may cause you more problems than they solve. But the first big myth that I encountered when I was, coming up through the ranks of saxophonists is that you have to know what you want to sound like. You have to know what you want to sound like in order to sound. You have to have that saxophone sound in your mind, okay? No. I'm going to go back down this list and dispel all this and give you some tools that you can actually work with. The second myth is that we're taught that tone is the first thing that people hear that comes out of your saxophone. It's the tone. And what that does is it puts your sound in somebody else's hands. Now your tone is subject to approval or disapproval of people that you may not even know. And I'm going to knock that one down too. It is not the most important part, and it's generally not the first thing people hear. The diaphragm fib, let's talk about that one. You're told over and over again to use your diaphragm. Hands, show of hands, where the hell is your diaphragm? Well, I'm here to tell you. We use the diaphragm fib over and over because nobody looks it up, all right? The diaphragm is a transverse muscle, meaning and it's at the bottom of your lungs. It's attached to them and it helps to re-inflate them. Kind of an elastic band that helps to re-inflate your lungs when they're empty, all right? The diaphragm is an autonomous muscle. It works by itself. You can't control it. It works on its own accord, which is a very good thing, by the way. Yours is working right now, and so is mine. How do I know this? Because, well, I'm talking and you're listening. The diaphragm fib. So I'll tell you what to use instead of trying to wonder, where the hell is my diaphragm? And I heard this lesson when I was 16 years old. Guy slugged me in the stomach and said, use your diaphragm. And I'm like, what the heck? What's he talking about? All right. And the last thing is that you can't really hear yourself. When you're playing the saxophone, you cannot really hear yourself and your tone. All right. Exhibit A, Your Honor. Take a look at the saxophone. Look at how it's built. Sound comes out this way, and it comes out all these tone holes, doesn't it? All right. Well, where are you the whole time? Are you in front of the horn or behind the horn? Oh, yes. You're back here behind the horn, so the sound is moving away from you. And if Isaac Newton taught us anything, it's that you can't be in two places at the same time, right? So let's take that one and build backwards. How can you hear yourself better? Well, face a wall, okay? Stand about 12 inches away from any wall, facing the wall, or corner, refrigerator, whatever. And this isn't new technology. I'm not making any of this up. This is just stuff I've learned along the way. Stand there and do your long tone practice. Do whatever practice you have into the wall. The sound will bounce back, and your two teachers here that are attached to your dome will catch that sound, and you'll get a much better representation than you will if you try to record yourself on your smartphone, or if you just play, say, in your little practice room. You might have a little room in the saxophone, it's just going to fill the room up and sound like a swarm of bees. That's not going to be accurate either. So bounce it off the wall. You can buy appliances that clip onto the saxophone. They're really cool, and they bounce the sound back up too. But if you don't want to spend money, just stand in front of a wall, all right? I have a list. Here it is. I got a list of things, because this is an important lesson. And like I said, I teach this over and over and over and over and over and over, and it almost just has no impact. All right, your tone is already your tone. Your tone can't be my tone. Your tone cannot be Stan Getz's tone. Stan Getz can't have your tone if he were still with us. Your tone is already your tone, and that's because of your physical properties of your person, right? The shape of your head, your throat, the size of your oral cavity, the size of your body, your person, your lungs, all that business. Your tone is your tone, all right? You're gonna, just like my voice is my voice and your voice is your voice, right? All right, tone is a life pursuit. There's no box of reeds that you're gonna buy or a new mouthpiece. I have a student, by the way, that's on that mouthpiece roulette thing, and he shows up every week with a new mouthpiece, and they're really cool. Right? I suggest find one and stick with it. You'll note that many of the great players that we follow, the Hank Crawfords, the David Sanborns, let me think of who else, Maceo Parker, Stan Getz, Phil Woods had a piece and stuck with it for years and years and years and years. One piece, right? Okay, so tone is a life pursuit. Again, you can't buy your way into good tone. Assuming, of course, that your horn is in good shape, you're not leaking, and you got a reasonable buzzer and a reed that hasn't been chewed up by the dogs. Tone is a life pursuit. It's this. It takes air, okay? And once again, instead of, pushing with the mysterious diaphragm, use your six-pack abs. Fill up with air, like you're going to, fall into, you're about ready to cannonball into your neighbor's pool. What are you going to do before you hit the water? You're sucking air. Like that. You're filling up your entire person with as much air as you can. That's how you breathe with the saxophone. It's a bit athletic. You got to think about that. Saxophone requires more breath than you think it does, all right? And you can't just do it once. You got to do it over and over throughout whatever piece you're playing. So your strategy becomes, where the hell do I breathe? And how often? And how can I sneak that breath in and fill up so that Dave doesn't come and yell at me? Now, my shoulders move when I breathe. Is that a big deal? No. What's the worst deal is that you don't breathe. So I don't care what moves. In fact, people who criticize you for, moving shoulders and all that nonsense, don't even listen to them anymore. All right. Tone. What you really need is control, all right? Control, and what I mean by that is knowing that your saxophone will work and that the note that you intended to play will come out repeated over time, that you can pick your horn up and you can say, I'm going to play an A, and an A is going to come out, all right? Assuming you're warmed up. that, you know, the notes, the sound, the duration, whatever, you've got control over that. They don't warble all over the place. You've got a nice, good, firm sound. You're in tune. Oh, intonation is such a problem, especially on the alto sax, okay? All right, the most don't get this, and, you know, it's tough. It's tough because, you know, you could have much better tone right now if you started to breathe. Embouchure plays a part, of course it does. But really, you know, your embouchure, as we have learned over the years, loose is good. Loose lips sink ships. All right, but loose lips make great saxophone tone. Tone is entirely under your control. It is entirely under your control. And I want you to write that down and underline it. Put it on your blackboard. My tone is under my control, right? If you can breathe, you can make tone. That's it. All right, that's what I got for today. That's all I got. I hope that this helps you, and I hope that you really get on, you know, the tone treadmill and start making better tone by breathing, putting breath. That's how you project on your saxophone. It's not buying a 4.5 reed or a 3 reed. It's your tone coming through your loose embouchure. Again, air support. You fill up like that, right? Okay, you got a bunch of air inside. And if somebody comes by and gives you pink belly while you're practicing, your drum sounds like a stomach. Reverse that. Your stomach sounds like a drum. All right, got to get out of here. That's all I've got. I've exceeded my time here. I promised you I would do shorter sessions, and I'm going on 12 minutes now. Again, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any suggestions about how you learn how to breathe and do air support for your saxophone and how that impacted your tone, hey man, we all learn from you too. So please leave comments, all right? Again, thanks for being here so much. Do good work. Play your horn as often as you can. Be kind to each other, and I'll catch you here next time. Take care.